Thank you so much, Reverend Baya Mugisha. At this time, I'd like to welcome our final speaker for Plenary 1. Please get your questions together. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Bambi Gaddist, and she is just not another speaker. She is my mentor, my shero. I met her some years ago when the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation launched the Act Against AIDS Leadership Initiative, and she's one of the first persons that I met. I remember Congressman Clyburn told me, if you're going to do anything in South Carolina, you need to work with Bambi Gaddist. That's who I work with. And I was like, oh, okay. So I met the dynamic Bambi Gaddist at the time. She was nominated for a CNN Hero Award. And so I was able to go online and see all these wonderful things about her. And I think after you hear her speak, you'll know why I love her so much. She received her doctorate in human sexuality and family life education, I believe at the University of South Carolina. She serves as the executive director of the South Carolina HIV/AIDS Council, a nonprofit organization located in Columbia, South Carolina. She is a published author, consults on a host of national and local organizations, including the Centers for Disease Control Prevention, American Association of Health Education, National Association of STD Directors, so on and so forth. Please welcome to the stage Dr. Bambi Gaddist.
This is an exciting opportunity for me, mainly because, you know, as I look around the room and I see the diversity that's here, particularly from the fact that there are so many young people here. That is a major contribution to this effort. I should tell you I am the product of a divorced situation. My father raised my sisters and I without our mother present from the ages of 10, 8, and 2. You know, his perception of life was get out and get a job. And so a lot of the socialization that my female counterparts had, I didn't get that opportunity because I was too busy mowing the lawn. Without getting into a lot of that, you know, one of the things that I always ask myself when I have an opportunity to come into these kinds of sessions is, why are you in here? Because I'm sure you could be somewhere else. But for some reason, you decided to be here. And so I always wonder, why do people do what they do? And why are you sitting in this room? And what is it that you expect to get out of this? And what are you going to do when you leave? And so that's a backdrop and a question that I would pose to you as to why are you sitting in this room? I'm a behavioralist at heart, a teacher actually, behavioralist in that I believe that, well, quite frankly, I'm not interested in what you say. I'm interested in what you do. You know, we say a lot of things, but we don't always act on what we say. So, you know, it's like saying, I love you, or somebody tells you they love you. Okay, that's nice. Now, tell me what you love about me. Because if you can't tell me what you love about me, then that would make me kind of skeptical. You know, like these married folks who, yes, the couple who's having problems. Well, tell me something you love about him. Well, let's see. He's a hard worker. Okay, well, the fact that he's a hard worker, I don't think it's going to sustain this relationship. Let's talk about some other things. So I'm a realist, and I believe that skills is a critical part of that. That unless you identify why you're here and start processing what is it exactly you're trying to get, and how are you going to practice what you preach, then it doesn't always manifest. So when I got this invitation, I should say also, like the pastor, I've been invited several times, and unfortunately I have been unable to make it. My husband's birthday is on December the 1st. And it has continued to conflict up until this moment. I tell folks, so, I do this 365 days of the year. I'm the person that people hate to see coming. But on my husband's birthday, I try to hold that sacrosanct so he can host his own surprise birthday party, which he plans to do again. So I started thinking about the topic because I think I've lived it for 30 years. I've been working in HIV since '85. Yeah, I'm the old school, the old head. So at who I was at 29, 30, and who I am now as a 58-year-old woman is slightly different, and my perspectives have changed. So I had just gone to this movie called 12 Years a Slave. And I didn't think it was ironic that it seemed to happen in the same time. And yeah, here we go. I went into the movie, I'm not sure what I was expecting, but 12 Years a Slave is about a gentleman by the name of Solomon Northup, who was actually, his father was a slave, but his father was given his papers to be free, and so subsequently Solomon was made free and lived in upstate New York, where he lived with his family. He was a man of means. He was a hard worker. He was an engineer. He was a musician. He was a farmer. His wife was a contracted cook, and she traveled sometimes away from the family so that they could make money. They lived well. So in the eyes of some, he was privileged, particularly by those who were living in captivity and who were the property of others. And so within a short period of time, although he could eat in the finest places, he found himself in a situation where in the flash of an eye, he had his freedom and then he had none. It's kind of like how some people perceive an HIV diagnosis. You walk in there with your sorority sisters and, y'all laughing and joking and we just came in to get tested together. And then 1 out of the 5 gets a positive diagnosis. So then we have to figure out, how do we get you out of our office so your sorority sisters don't see you in the emotional state that you're in? And how do we get you to come back so that we can move you into a process? So Solomon went from being a free man into struggling with the notion that he was conned, he got played, that he thought he was going to handle one thing and he ended up being the property of someone else. And so for many of the people that he met along the way, the thought of death was actually something about kindness and mercy versus anything else. And so for some, there were glimmers of hope. There were people that were different, that for some reason they don't know how they